foremost, if you can see it, go vote today. If you haven't voted yet, make sure you get out and vote, as it is election day. So thank you for joining us for today's Small Business Bootcamp. Again, it's November 8th, election day, and we're excited to have everybody with us for this bootcamp session. I'm Robert Theobald. I'm a Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services here at the Arizona Commerce Authority. And as we like to do, we like to start by recognizing all of our community partners. We could not do these webinars without them, their time, their effort, and their expertise. And this is just a fraction of the 200 plus partners that have helped with the boot camp over the last 2.5 years. So those not familiar, the Small Business Boot Camp is designed to help small businesses as they work through their business life cycle, whether they're starting, growing, helps them with planning, etc. It is a statewide initiative supported by all our community partners. And not only is it the webinar that we do every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., it is a content library and a series of workshops. So for example, last week we had our final workshop of the year with the Phoenix Business Journal, Wells Fargo, REDW, Gallagher and Kennedy, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona, and the Small Business Development Centers. It was a great workshop on ending the year right and access to capital. And so you can find the recording of that in the content library. So what is the content library? Well, the content library is a recording of all our webinars. We've recorded all of them since the very beginning, and you can go back and access those recordings, the slide decks, and any other materials that those presenters wanted to share with the audience. There's no cost to do that. You can find those on the Small Business Bootcamp webpage at the very bottom. If you scroll down, you'll find that content library. And as you can see on the screen, you can sort by 7 different categories to help you narrow down the 250 plus presentations that are on there to find what you need. Also, if you're looking for a specific topic and you can't find it, feel free to reach out to us and we can help guide you there, or it might be a topic that we haven't yet touched on, and it'll be good for us to know so we can bring in an expert to fulfill that need. So with that, we want to look at some of the other programs that the ACA offers and has for small businesses. We have our Small Business Services Division, and you can see some of the things we do there. We have our workforce, and there's a number of different things they can do to help support small business growth with the employee side of things. And then our Arizona MEP, our Manufacturing Extension Partnership, they focus on small to medium sized manufacturers and helping them with all their needs from A to Z. Additionally, for those looking to start a business or grow their business to new areas or industries, we have our Small Business Checklist program. And the Small Business Checklist is an online interactive resource that helps guide entrepreneurs, startup businesses, existing businesses to understand the commonly requested licensing, registration, and compliance information at the local, state, and federal levels. You can also find other business information, as you see there, business planning or procurement or marketing. There's a ton of information on the Small Business Checklist. It goes very in depth, but if you're just looking for a quick answer to something, you might try Sally. You can see Sally there on our screen. Sally's our virtual assistant, and it stands for state and local licensing information. So with that, let's look at some business updates. So next week on Tuesday, right after next Tuesday's boot camp, ASBA has their Arizona Speaks webinar series, and it's on marketing. So we're going to post the link for that in the chat. ASBA has been a partner of ours throughout the boot camp, and they continue to share information about it. So we want to make sure we are sharing their information with everybody as well. And then just a reminder, if you're looking for growth, either right now or in the coming year, Maricopa County, for those in Maricopa County, just renewed their 1% interest loan with Prestamo CDFI. And so that is still available for those businesses. It is a loan for up to $1 million over 5 years at 1% interest. So with inflation the way it is, to get a 1% interest loan is incredible. So it's a great opportunity. I encourage everybody that's looking for some debt to grow their business to take a look at that option. So with that, we have our upcoming session. So next week, we have the basics of influencer marketing. We're really excited about that session. We've got some previous presenters back on to share with that. And they're awesome. So we're excited to hear some updates and that information again. Then we are taking a break for the week of Thanksgiving. A lot of people will be traveling on Tuesday or tied up with their businesses getting ready for the holiday. So we are taking a break. And then we will be back together on Tuesday, November 29th for Accounting 101, financial statements guides for small business. So we know a lot of small businesses can always use help with understanding their financials, and it's key as you look to grow in the beginning of the year. So we're really excited about that session. So with that, we're going to jump into today's session. We have Kyle Homan from our Strategic Futures team here at the Arizona Commerce Authority. And we also have, to support Kyle, we have Jill Howard Allen, who is part of that team as well. And they are going to talk about the grant program, the FAST grant program they have, and the SBIR and STTR program, and how you can take advantage of those programs to grow your business. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and turn the time over to Kyle and Jill, and it's all yours.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Robert, for that great introduction. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. Like Robert said, my name is Kyle Homan, and I am an analyst here at the Arizona Commerce Authority. One of my primary programs that I work with is the SBIR/STTR programs, and that is what I am here presenting on today. I'll give an overview of the program. Feel free to chime in with any questions you have while I go through it, and then obviously at the end there will also be time for Q&A, which I would be happy to answer those as well. If you ask a really, really good question that I don't know, I'm going to have my colleague Jill here try to answer that. And if she doesn't know, we will get that answer for you, and we can always just send you a quick email after. So with that being said, I'm going to pull up my presentation and get started. Robert, if you want to let me know that it's successfully gone into presentation mode.
It is.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, that's sort of my introduction, so I'll get right into it. Today we'll be talking about the SBIR and STTR programs, as well as the Arizona FAST program. Just by way of background, for those of you who don't know, the SBIR and STTR programs are designed to boost the commercialization and R&D efforts of startups and small businesses that are attempting to commercialize nascent technologies. It is funded through the SBA, and it's a highly competitive program to receive the SBIR funding, but it's administered by various different agencies. You can kind of see those logos on the screen. Two of the big ones are the DoD and the NSF, the Department of Defense, and the National Science Foundation. The way it works is essentially that those agencies basically say, you know, these are the technologies that we would like to see developed, and then you pitch to them or submit an application saying, you know, we can do that. We would like to develop that. Here is our market plan. Here's our commercialization plan. Here is our plan to develop that technology. Depending on the agency, there are some difference. For example, the NSF is much more open, meaning you can sort of submit your ideas to them, whereas the DoD is it's more like you're fulfilling a contract where they put out the request and you respond to it. So that's just a little bit of a background on the SBIR and STTR programs. Let's see. There we go. So some key aspects of the SBIR program. One of my favorite aspects is that the funding you receive from the government is non-dilutive capital, meaning they don't take any equity in your company. They fund your R&D efforts, and they want to see you successful, and they want to see you commercialize that technology. But once you get to the point where you are in a state of revenue and commercialization, you still have full control over your equity, which is a great benefit to a lot of companies. The other aspect is, I hear a lot that people are concerned when it comes to government programs for R&D is because they're worried about IP and property rights or data rights. The government doesn't share your reports or data with anyone outside the federal government for 20 years, and you are in control of your IP. Another aspect is the potential for direct follow-on phase 3 awards. What that essentially means is when you are working with the government, fulfilling a contract, typically that involves some sort of competitive process where you go out for bids and you compete against others to kind of get the lowest rate and show that you can fulfill what they're asking for. With the SBIR program and with a company that's received an SBIR award, that SBIR process of going through and applying and winning an SBIR award, that is considered the competitive process. So a company that receives an SBIR award does not need to go out for bids with the federal government. They're considered what's called a sole source contractor, where that SBIR award serves as that competitive process and they can directly fulfill and contract with the federal government. Another piece is just that vetted technology aspect that comes with it. If you receive an SBIR award, that's basically the government and whatever agency specifically that you've worked with, whether it's the DoD or the NSF or the NIH or any other agency. They've essentially given yourself sort of given your company and your technology a stamp of approval. The first phase of SBIR funding is considered a proof of concept study. So if you receive that phase 1 award, you've shown a certain degree of viability with what you're attempting to do, and that is sort of a stamp of approval from the government. And so when you take all of this together, it makes your company, if you've received an SBIR award and you have all these sort of aspects together, it makes your company very appealing to investors or anyone else, because like I said, you still have full control of your equity. If you decide you then want to go out and leverage that equity to increase your capital and your funding and your investment, you can absolutely do that. But the fact that you are further along, you have that stamp of approval, you're past the proof of concept, you're into prototyping, and all of that together with the fact that you still have full control of your equity, that's what makes you sort of very appealing to these investors and other people familiar with the program. I'll go to the next slide. Some eligibility requirements. Like I said, it's the Small Business Innovation Research Program. Small business, the way that the program defines small business is just any company organized for profit, U.S. owned and operated, and under 500 employees. The work needs to be done in the United States, and the focus has to be on R&D. This is not to scale up your manufacturing processes or increase efficiency. This is about prototyping, proof of concept of an unrealized technology, and so it's inherently an R&D program. Next slide. So like I said, I'm going to talk about the SBIR STTR programs as well as the FAST program. What is the FAST program? It is the Federal and State Technology Partnership Program, and its goal is to support programs that advance innovative technology-driven small businesses, like the SBIR program. The way it works is an organization is awarded a FAST grant to promote the SBIR program, and there are several aspects to that. The first being outreach, which is about increasing the number of applicants themselves and providing informational webinars to them. There's also technical assistance that comes in the form of workshops and connecting them to resources to help them through the SBIR process, as well as financial support, which can come in the form of grants and funding opportunities to help those companies that are interested in the SBIR program get their application over the finish line. The reason why I'm talking about the FAST grant, along with the SBIR program, is that the ACA is the recipient of the SBA's FAST grant for the state of Arizona. So the Arizona Commerce Authority, and specifically me and Jill, our job and our role is to promote the SBIR program through those three things we discussed. We, through outreach, technical assistance, and financial support, our goal is to grow the SBIR program here in the state of Arizona. This is a QR code that will take you to our SBIR STTR Resource Center on the Arizona Commerce Authority website. For those of you that are more old school, you can just go to the Arizona Commerce Authority website and click on the Programs tab. And then you'll just scroll through until you find the SBIR STTR program, and that'll take you to the home page as well. On that website are several helpful resources to help companies that are going through the SBIR process. There is a page that includes links to SBIR consultants and support organizations and grant writers. A lot of the questions we have when we meet with companies is, I want to go through this program, I want to submit an application, but I'm new to it, and I would like to work with someone who understands the program and can help me with that application process. Financial assistance that I talked about is also what we call the Arizona Fast Grant application. It's a $3,000 grant that can go to paying for a grant writer or a consultant to assist you with that application process. That portal is currently open through the end of December. So any company that is interested in submitting an SBIR application, we strongly encourage you to go to the website, fill out that application to be reviewed to potentially receive that $3,000 financial assistance award. Let's see. We also have, I know that I went over the eligibility requirements in my presentation, but those are also listed on the website. We also have a video library of past workshops and webinars that we have provided. We record those and we put those up on the website. We also, on that same page, like I said, we have all the past videos we've done, but we also have links to registration pages for upcoming events. So you can go to like I said, if you just go to this homepage, it'll kind of open you up to all these different resources and avenues to research the program, learn more about the program, and hopefully set yourself up for success if you are interested in the SBIR program. You can also fill out a form. If you ever just have a question, you can go to our website and fill out the form with an SBIR related question. Those emails go automatically to Jill and I. We can review your question and respond to you. So those are all different resources that are available to you through our SBIR STTR homepage website on the Arizona Commerce Authority's website. Let's see. Next slide. Okay, so another great aspect or resource, I should say, related to the SBIR program is the Arizona Core Facilities Network. What the Core Facilities Network is a series of resources across each of the 3 major universities here in the state of Arizona, where you can access through the university's advanced manufacturing equipment and technology at competitive rates. If you're a small business or a startup, you might not have the capital to go out and buy a $3 million electron microscope. The Core Facilities Network allows you to access these advanced technologies, a lab space, clean room space, all this manufacturing equipment, like I said, at those competitive rates. At select facilities, if you receive an SBIR award and you are utilizing the Core Facilities Network, you can actually access those resources at nonprofit rates. So that is an additional benefit to having an SBIR program if you are needing to access this equipment and the machinery, the clean room, the lab room space, et cetera. Having an SBIR award actually makes that rate even more competitive by having and being awarded an SBIR program. And you for sure don't need to be an SBIR awardee to access the Core Facilities Network, but this is related to the SBIR program, so I wanted to tout that specifically. Let's see. Another great resource is the I-Core program. Its goal is to lower market risk for small businesses. The reason why this program was born is you had at the university level and with academic research, you had professors and academics who were very, very good at pumping out research, but they struggled with the more business-ended commercialization aspect of that research. How do we commercialize the technology and research that we are actually, studying? And so it started with the NSF, but several other agencies have implemented their own version of the I-Core program. And like I said, the goal is to help lower market risk and help those small businesses commercialize. And it overlaps with the SBIR and STTR program because they both focus sort of on that innovative entrepreneurial mindset and commercialization of those nascent technologies. The registration page to the monthly NSF I-Core, an informational webinar. They have monthly informational webinars. They're sort of the same each month. It's just sort of an introduction to the I-Core program, how to get started, what is it right for you? And so that can be accessed through that link there. I will say that it really is a beneficial program, especially if you're going through the SBIR process, because one of the things that a lot of people struggle with when submitting an SBIR application is the focus on their commercialization plan and their path to commercialization. If someone who submits an SBIR application doesn't know who their market is, who's going to buy this, it's going to be a really tough sell to earn an SBIR award. And the I-Core program is specifically related to commercializing and conducting that market research. I think as part of the NSF I-Core program, you have to conduct over 100 interviews with potential clients to really figure out what your business segment is and how you fill a sort of a market need with your technology. The SBIR awards in themselves are very competitive awards. The success rate to the NSF SBIR program, I believe, is in like the low teens, low 20% rate. They've said that if those that have gone through their NSF I-Core program, that acceptance rate goes up to something in like the 70% rate. And that's just because specifically what you're doing through the I-Core program is so related to a portion of the SBIR application with that market research, with that commercialization plan, that the individuals that were really missing that piece on their usual initial applications after going through the I-Core program, they're able to understand much better the market need. And so that's a huge benefit and aspect of the SBIR program. Let's see, next slide. Another resource is technical and business assistance, or TABA funding. It's a supplemental resource for individuals that have received an SBIR STTR award. You can actually apply for TABA funding while going through the SBIR application process. The phase 1 award, which like I said, that is for conducting the proof of concept, which is about 6 to 12 months, that you can receive up to $6,500. And once you receive a phase 2 award of the SBIR program, which is focused on prototyping, which is 1 to 2 years, that is up to $50,000 in just that supplemental funding. Some agencies offer TABA, some do not. So it's always good to check into whatever agency you'd be applying to with the SBIR program to determine if they offer TABA funding. Like I said, you are able to sort of submit that request for funding alongside your application. Just some additional resources for you. The SBIR.gov website is a great resource on the SBIR program. You can learn about the program. You can view, there's another link as well that'll take you directly to the tutorials and FAQ and videos that are associated with the SBIR program, which is a great resource, like I said, just to learn more. One of the really cool aspects of the SBIR.gov website is you can use it to look at, first you can look at the current open topics across the different agencies to see what technologies they are interested in developing, as well as past awardees and past winners and past topics, which is also a great way to sort of see what the history of the agency's funding technologies have been, and you can kind of see how other people have developed their technologies in the past. I'd also encourage you to check out each individual agency's website if you have determined what agency you'd like to submit the SBIR to. Like I said, there's the DoD and the NSF and the NIH, but there's also other federal agencies like the USDA, the Department of Energy. There are a lot of different agencies that put out these topics to fund these technologies. And so it's a great resource just to learn more about that, both through the SBIR.gov site as well as each individual agency's resource. I didn't touch on it earlier, but I want to say that when you're reviewing the topic specifically for an SBIR award, which is the solicitation itself, and you want to know more about that solicitation, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to whatever program manager's name is attached to that topic. Each agency has different program managers overseeing different topics and programs within the SBIR program, and they're sort of the in-house experts on what that agency is specifically looking for. A lot of people who have successfully commercialized through SBIR, they say that one of the most critical aspects of getting that award was speaking directly with an agency program manager who was able to provide them with some insight and share feedback on their pending proposal and sort of the direction that they should take it, and sort of the direction that the agency was looking to go with it. So that resource is a really critical aspect to those companies that have received the SBIR award. Some other just agency guides, Department of Energy's application guide. There's the link to the EPA's SBIR program, a proposal writing guide for the NSF. There really are a lot of resources out there related to SBIR. It is, like I said, it's a competitive process. It is very technical, but with the resources that are out there, it's not insurmountable, and it's not too daunting. And like I said, you can always reach out directly to Jill and I if you're looking to get plugged into a specific resource. We have a large network of organizations across the state that are sort of part of our efforts to grow the program here in Arizona, and they can provide you with some resources as well. So we're always happy to meet individually with companies that are interested in going through the process, and sort of point them in the right direction based off their specific needs. So that's pretty much what I have as far as the presentation goes. Let me see. Were there any questions in the chat? I saw that there was my chat box was lighting up while I was going through the presentation, but I wasn't able to open it until I stopped sharing my screen. Let's see. I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment. Feel free to put those in there if you do. Oh, the Q&A box. Thank you, Faith. Not the chat, the Q&A box. When do FAST applications get notified if they are awarded? So the way that we do the FAST applications is they're open for 3 months and they're closed for a month so we can review, and then open for another 3 months, etc. So we do them 3 times a year with a window to submit. The portal's open on 3 different segments. And at the moment it's open through December 31st, with us reviewing and then letting individuals know if they've been awarded for a FAST award in mid-January. If I've submitted, Madeline says she submitted 2 NSF SBIRs and 1 through the DHS. SBIR feedback report is excellent on concept, but was never awarded a phase 1. Compiled with all the paperwork and documents. Seems like I need an appointment. Anna grant writer. Yes, so we are totally happy. Even if you've gone through the process and you've submitted and maybe you've been successful in the past and maybe you haven't, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to meet with you and find out specifically what you struggled with in your application process, and we can definitely point you to a resource that is available and able to help. So thank you for sharing that, Madeline. How does a company know if they should apply for funds or not? I'll answer this in two ways, depending on if it's being referred to the Arizona FAST Award or the SBIR program itself. For AZ FAST, companies should submit only if they're interested in applying and submitting to an SBIR. The Arizona FAST grant is specifically related to the SBIR process. So if you're not interested in SBIR and submitting an application, the Arizona FAST grant is not right for you. And how do you specifically know if you should apply for an SBIR? That's really a great question. And it depends agency to agency. Like, for example, if you have a great idea, some agencies offer what are called open topics, where you can pitch to them sort of your idea and fill out an application. In the NSF's case, you give a short pitch, and then they review that pitch, and then they invite you to submit a full application. Whereas other agencies, like I said, like the DoD, that's more contract based. So I would say how to know if you should apply for the program to begin with is sort of figure out what exactly your technology is and what you're offering, and then do some research, do some digging, see if there are any topic like so the SBIR.gov, where you can look at the topics that are currently open. You can keyword search. So you can type in a keyword related to your technology and see if any agencies are funding that through a specific topic or proposal. And if not, but you still think that it's a great technology and has a lot of commercial potential, you can submit to one of the agency's open topics, like the NSF, where you submit to them. So hope that answers that question. I am not a member. Is there a fee to join? I don't know specifically what you're referring to as a member of what organization, but there are no fees associated with any sort of resource or program that I've discussed here today.
Yeah, so the Arizona Commerce Authority is not an association, so we're not a membership organization. We're the state's economic development organization. So there's no fee to, no fee to join us or to be part of our programs. So you can find all that information on our website.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate that. What is the approximate amount of hours needed to draft a competitive application? This is a really great question. And I've talked to a lot of people who have both been successful and unsuccessful, and sort of I have never really heard anyone say a number less than 100 hours into the SBIR application. I've heard people go as high as 200, and one person I know even said they spent 400 hours on their successful application. So it really just depends. But it's definitely one of the pitfalls that a lot of people fall into, especially if they have an academic research background, is they sort of assume that it's similar to any other sort of academic grant that they've applied for in the past. And it is a much more technical and intensive process. And like I said, we do have different resources where we're able to connect individuals with both on the private side, as well as some no cost services as well related to the SBIR program, and helping get that application off across the finish line. Yeah, but like I said, it is a fairly intensive process upfront just to get that funding. And so like I said, because it takes so many hours, we really want to make sure people are set up for success and they understand the ins and outs of the program, because we don't want them to waste those 100 hours. You might not be successful, but if you are within the ballpark of what you're supposed to be doing, you can always take the feedback for why you were declined, and improve your application, and take that feedback and submit again, and hopefully win an award. But obviously, if you're way off base, then it's just a waste of time. So we want to make sure that you understand the program and you understand specifically how the application process works. And like I said, we're always happy to kind of provide specific resources based off your needs around that. Let's see. Is there a way to participate in the TABA program without being part of the SBIR program? Jill, I believe TABA is specifically a supplemental resource related to SBIR, but let me know if I'm mistaken.
No, you're correct. It is part of the SBIR program.
Thank you, Jill. See, like I said, the hard questions, I'll hand over to Jill. I appreciate it, Jill. Let's see.
I'll get this next one, Kyle. It's from David. This is, we are transferring from California, Arizona. David, let's talk offline. That doesn't really tie to the SBIR topic today, but I can help you with that question that you have. So feel free. I'll send you a chat message with my email.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Robert. Thank you. What is the timeline for the SBIR program? When is the award granted for successful applications? Another great question. And that does vary agency to agency. We typically, it could be 3 months is typically what we see as far as after you submit the application, get it in the door. How long does it take to receive that feedback on if you are accepted? So there is some time that goes by, and we sort of say, especially with the SBIR program, because it is so competitive, and you don't know if you're going to get the award despite how good your application may appear. We always say sort of never put all your eggs in one basket. Never go through whatever your model is as if you're going to get this award, as if you're dependent on it for your success. It's a great opportunity for companies, and it can really benefit and speed up their commercialization process. But just because of the turnaround on the award and the amounts that are rejected, we never want a company to sort of have their success or viability hinge on receiving an SBIR award. If that is inherent to your business model, that's very, very risky. But like I said, it's a great supplemental resource as far as getting you a head start on that proof of concept prototyping R&D funding without losing any of that equity up front. So it's just a great Kickstarter, if you will, but by no means necessary for a business that wants to commercialize. Are late stage developments eligible, such as a medical device that is ready for FDA trials? That is a great question. And there is a component of the SBIR program. It's called the Direct to Phase 2 Award, which is essentially, it skips phase 1. It kind of skips over that proof of concept and goes directly to that prototyping stage. Those also vary from agency to agency, and they are, if you thought getting an SBIR was hard, a Direct to Phase 2 is definitely a heavier lift than that. There are avenues and opportunities for it. Jill, do you want to speak a little bit more, maybe directly to where they are at as a medical device ready for trials and where the SBIR may fit into that?
It's really based more for early stage innovation, but I think probably the best way to go about this is to speak specifically with a funding agency that you're interested in, like an Army medical or a NSF or NIH, and there might be aspects of your technology that could be funded through SBIR or STTR.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. We have a great question from Adrian. They're saying, can you provide more details about the SBIR pitch? Am I aware of any examples? That's a great question. I don't have any specific examples, but what I can tell you is through that SBIR Resource Center, specifically the video log where we have the past videos and workshops and webinars that we've done. We have a great workshop that is specifically on, it's writing the perfect pitch to the NSF. That is a great video resource that really dives into the SBIR pitch process for the NSF. I would definitely encourage you to check out that video. It goes into depth on a lot of the different aspects of writing that pitch. Let's see. What is the best prep for starting? Which one might best be tried first as a new business? So I think the question here is, what is the best way to determine what agency or what program is right for your technology as a new business? I guess my answer to that would be, look into the different resources. You can go to that SBIR.gov website and do that keyword search, and you can search, keywords related to your technology, and that'll hopefully generate results specific to one agency or multiple agencies, open solicitations related to that sort of technology. The FAST grant page doesn't have a lot of details listed on what's a typical thesis for applying. It has standard eligibility standards, but not about the type of R&D details it's looking for from companies. So if you're referring to what information is needed to fill out a FAST grant application, that the application itself is fairly straightforward. We're just asking for sort of information on your company, what your technology is, what's your commercialization potential, sort of basic questions that are relevant to the SBIR application process, just to make sure that you're on the right track and in the ballpark. Because like I said, the FAST grant is only for SBIR applications. It's a supplemental grant to help with that, the SBIR application process. As far as if you're referring to what's a typical technology or application for applying to an SBIR in general, that is a lot more broad. And like I said, it does vary from agency to agency. The type of R&D that each agency is looking for, like I said, is different. Obviously, some of the different agencies are much more mission driven. So, like the DoD specifically, it's sort of like, how is this going to help our warfighters? How is it going to help bring people home alive? Sort of, technologies related to that. Whereas the NSF, on the other hand, is much, much, much more broad. And that's why they sort of have that pitch process, because they want to hear directly from you, what ideas do you have? What are you looking to commercialize? What is your technology? What is your plan? And so on the NSF side, I will say that they are looking for much, much, much high risk, high reward technologies. They are by no means risk averse. Ironically, one of the problems that companies run into when they're applying for an NSF is sometimes they like to downplay to their detriment the sort of the risk factor. They want to make it seem like this is not risky at all. It's a slam dunk. And the NSF isn't really interested in those technologies that are crafted with that messaging. They want that high risk, high reward technology, and they are very interested in sort of seeing how that's not to say that you should just be like, this has no chance of happening, but fund me anyway. But they want to hear what your commercialization plan is for high risk, high reward technologies. So like I said, it varies from agency to agency, sort of what level of risk they're interested in and what form of technology they're looking at. But each agency, you can go to each agency's website or that SBIR.gov resource and look at the different topics from different agencies. What needs to be in place in a company so that they are more likely to win SBIR STTR funds? That's a very broad and open question. I would say that they definitely, as far as just success through an entire SBIR award, they definitely need to have a strong accounting procedures in place, going through an SBIR award, just through the audits that you go through with working with the government and submitting and reporting on your award status. That is one of a lot of feedback that I hear from other people is, we outsourced the bookkeeping to a professional, just because that was the level of rigor that was required to keep on top of some of the reporting. I would say, it's really just a mix of research and business acumen. It's great to have a well-rounded team that is able to speak to both roles. Like I said, a lot of people who come from a university background sort of lack that business experience, and some of the people that apply to an SBIR with only that business backing don't really understand a lot of the intensive research that is required throughout the process. So a healthy mix of business know-how, research ability, accounting, bookkeeping practices. These are all different aspects of a solid team related to the SBIR program. Jill, just because that question is so broad, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
As a matter of fact, I do. The biggest challenges are some of these little tedious pieces that kind of hold you back. You need to register with the SAM website, get a unique identifier number for the company, And I would also say knowledge of the program, getting an understanding of what's required, what you need to do. And I'd speak with those program managers, get an understanding of what your technology is and how that might fit with their needs. Understand what you're applying for. That'll help make that more successful.
Cool, awesome, appreciate it, Jill. Does the ACA have a landing page for resources to support SBIR STTR development? PADT has pursued in one SBIRs on our own, but we would also like to work with others to validate their R&D concept. Is there a way to link people to us? And thank you for hosting the meeting. You are welcome, Jeff. And like I said, one of the parts of our website is specifically related to support organizations, whether it's a grant writer or a consultant or professional services to small businesses. We like to provide different resources. If you're interested in connecting with SBIR companies and sort of working with them to validate that R&D concept. I'm not sure if you're referring to as like a mentor relationship you're looking to serve with these small businesses, but definitely shoot us an email after this and let's discuss further, because I'd definitely like to include you on our resource page and help connect you to those businesses. But I'd like to better understand sort of what form that relationship would take. But thank you for that. Cool, thank you, Jeff. Does ACA also work with pre-seed and seed funding with local AZ-based angel investors? This is a little bit out of my wheelhouse. I don't know if Robert or Jill, either of you can speak better to this question.
David, it depends on if you're referring to us helping you get seed funding, but we do have some startup programs in our innovation team. And I would definitely look at our Arizona Innovation Challenge. We have our virtual accelerator program for startups as well. We also participate heavily in support things like the Tech Council and the Venture Madness, Startup Phoenix, Startup Tucson, and those programs. So there's definitely some business plan competitions to get involved in as well, and pitching your ideas if you're in the pre-seed to get out in front of the investors. And if you're at a seed funding level looking for venture capital, there may be some avenues there. So feel free to reach out to me after this and we can talk in more detail.
Cool, thank you. If you have multiple ideas, what agency is best to speak to about picking the topic idea? That's a great question. Like, if you do have multiple ideas, do that keyword search on the SBIR.gov website, determine what funding agencies are interested in your different topic ideas. And another thing, what agencies should you speak to? Speak to all of them that you're interested in. If you see a topic that might be right for you across multiple agencies, feel free to reach out to whichever program managers is working on each of those individually across the agencies. Have that meeting, have that discussion. Really, like I said, such a huge piece of success with the SBIR program is really understanding what the agency is looking for, what the program manager is looking for, and having those conversations. So if you have multiple ideas that may be relevant to multiple agencies, reach out to any and all that you think serves a potential fit to what you're trying to do. Thank you. And I think I saw someone else, I guess it was answered live, but I think they were asking for my email. I'll just go ahead and put it in the chat right now. So that's my email, kyleh@azcommerce.com. Happy to follow up with any and all of you after this with some more, if you have more in-depth questions or would like to arrange a meeting or just to get a little bit more knowledgeable about the program. Definitely please reach out and I'll be happy to have that discussion with you. Thank you, Mark. Any other questions? Feel free to pop them in the chat. And like I said, if they come after the fact, feel free to reach out directly and I'd be happy to have that conversation offline with you as well. Cool. Looks like I finished up here with a couple more minutes left. So Robert, I'll kick it back over to you if you want to.
Excellent. Yeah, we will. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that presentation, and Jill, thanks for helping share a few thoughts as well. Great session today, great information. I know we've shared some some of our emails with a number of you with questions on other topics. Again, if you have other business topics, feel free to reach out to us. If I can't answer it, I'll get you with the person in the ACA that can. And Kyle will do the same as well. But again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Kyle. We look forward to having everybody next Tuesday with us for our influencer marketing session. And so we wish everybody a great week. This Friday's Veterans Day. So if you have a 3-day weekend with that, please enjoy it. Please thank our veterans for their service and recognize them on that holiday on Friday. But then till then, again, everybody have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you on next Tuesday for our next boot camp. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.